Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. Here, this is the spot where the conversations are pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. Did you bring your thinking caps? Because it's time to put them on. Because the conversation starts now. Yourself. Brains, welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney. This is the spot. Did you know? Where the conversation is pointed and the guests are sharp and the responses are never dull. Today, we have an amazing artist with us, Milisa Savic. Do you see that artwork back there on her shelf? She is so creative. She does a different type of technique. She takes that technique and she works with a third party who in turns puts it on pillows and water cozies and tablets and it just all kinds of beautiful things. And it transposes so beautifully. And I'm so glad of the transposition that she has made within herself. You know, this was kind of nerve-wracking for her at first. This is her first, I think, podcast, and she didn't want to do it. And I was like, you know what? You are an under-discovered talent. So we're going to be gentle with her, Brains. We're going to love on her. We're going to like, love, and share this interview and purchase some of her products. But before we do all that, we want to welcome her to the show and hear a little bit about her story. How are you, Milisa?
I'm good, thanks, April. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so glad to have you. And thank you for being here with me and my brains on the edge. This is going to be very insightful. So tell my brains, firstly, how you show up on the planet and where you came from.
So I was born many, many, many years ago to lovely parents and had a good upbringing, but there was a bit of trauma, which I really don't want to get too much into.
Okay.
But it did lead me to where I am today. So I'm very grateful. About 6 years ago, I probably got to my lowest, which was not a good thing at the time, but a great thing 6 years later, because that's how I learnt to paint. I spent a year in residential rehab for alcohol abuse. I used to be ashamed of it, but I'm not anymore. I'm actually.
So used to be what?
I used to be ashamed of it.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not anymore because it's actually helped me develop and become the person who I am and the mother back to my 3 beautiful children.
You know, there's such a stigma around women more so when it comes to substance abuse. When you were in that dark space, and were you aware that you had a drinking problem and you were just trying to mask it, or it was just like an automatic switch that you would turn on? Does that make sense, the question?
It does. So I was in big denial. I used it as a coping mechanism to escape from my childhood trauma. And then I didn't realize how addictive it actually became until the doctors told me that if I don't do something, as well as my children, that it could actually kill me.
Oh, wow.
So I first and foremost went into a detox for 7 days and then admitted myself into 1 year of residential rehab. It was the hardest thing I have ever done, but the best thing I have ever done.
Absolutely. And there's such camaraderie there. There are other women to support. Some are going to make it, others are not. What's keeping you on the straight and narrow outside of the art?
Myself. I've learned to love myself and to want to live, to see this beautiful world, to travel, see my children, have their children, and my friends, my family, everyone, support other women and men, because there are a lot of men that, was in similar situations.
Absolutely.
I lived with the most amazing people whilst in residential rehab, learnt a lot about so much. I that's where I learned my painting skills. I would go to art therapy twice a week.
Mm.
Had an amazing art teacher there, Maria. And then I did paint when I left, but I had to rebuild my life and regain all the trust back from my family and friends that I lost beforehand. So that took some time, but I was lucky that I had a few friends that were still supportive, helped me find work, helped me find an apartment. Then I regained my relationships with my children, my brother and my sister-in-law, and now I'm here today. I
Look
enrolled.
at you. You look absolutely stunning. Yes, you do. And I'm so
Thank
happy
you.
for you and I'm proud of you. How long have you been sober?
6 years.
Wow. That's right. 6 years. People that are out there struggling know that there is hope. Know that self-medicating is just a temporary fix. It's a mask, it's a facade that you put on. It's hard to sometimes look at yourself in the mirror and not continue to see shame or victimization. But you are not responsible for what someone else did to you, but you are responsible for what you do to yourself.
Absolutely. And
You
the
know?
biggest key is to forgive yourself.
Right, right. Do you believe in this uh, forgiving others? When you forgive others, that's for you, that's for yourself more so?
I agree.
Took me a while to take that concept because I had somebody in my life and honey, they were something else. And I just could not see forgiveness in the future. I could see, you know, not being bothered with them, but pure 100% authentic, authentic forgiveness. I don't know, it was hard for me to grasp. And once I did it, I felt like I had offset a lot of the pressure that I was putting on myself because I had to change my composure. I had to change who I was. I had to adjust and edit my personality when this person came around. When I heard their name, when I was involved in an interaction, I was the one that had to change. So when I forgave them, it allowed me to also forgive myself. And it took a lot. You know, people say it all the time. That takes a lot of work, Milisa. Don't you agree?
Absolutely. And I work on myself every day. Doing the Bob Proctor, thinking into results opened my eyes up to a lot regarding forgiving and forgiveness with, and to surround yourself, well, who to surround yourself with, to not allow negativity. I used to be a very negative person. I was a happy person, but a very negative person for myself. And now I'm just positive. I don't allow negativity. If it does come in, I know how to release it. I
Right.
continue working every day, listening to, Bob. I do meditation. I join a gratitude club every morning with
Hmm.
amazing women, and
That's
that's how we start our day. Absolutely beautiful. About
that's
how
what.
grateful we are. I exercise now, which I never did. I would only walk.
Hmm.
Mm,
Yeah, and
So
that's good for the soul. It's clearing. So
yeah,
tell us about the art. You have a very unique technique. Tell us about the art.
a lot of it is pouring, acrylic pouring, reverse dipping, abstract painting. I just do what I feel on the day. I just choose the colors. I listen to a lot of music, and when I'm listening to the music, depending what comes into the song, is what I paint on canvas. And
So,
nothing is wasted because whatever I use that's poured, I will I will put art paper and I will paint it, and I use them as birthday cards, bookmarks, thank you cards.
bring bring one of the textiles closer so that we can kind of see now. Brains, unfortunately, this is Zoom, and we're not able to see the actual magnitude of the beauty and the gravitas that these works of art produce. But bring us something closer so that we can see it, so my brains can see it.
So do you want an original or do you want something that's been reprinted?
Okay, both. Let's see the original and then let's see the reprint.
So that's an original that I painted. This is a 3-part painting I did for my 2 beautiful goddaughters that I love dearly. And this is my part of the 3 of us. So that's an original.
Okay, so give us, wait, before you take it back, give us an idea of what that pouring is, because you said that you pour acrylic. Now, I've tried to paint. Good Lord, I've tried, like I said, to paint. Tell us a little bit about the process, because it's very unique.
So with this, I do use cells so that it can spread. And I just play like a child. I just choose the colors, pour it everywhere, blow, use a hairdryer, move it around till I'm happy with, and then let it dry. This one has glitter on it, which I experimented with and it worked. I don't think you can see the glitter.
Oh, I can.
That's
But,
all I do.
okay, but this, it's not that simple. It's not that simple, Melissa, because if I did it, I couldn't, mine would be different. I don't want to limit myself and say what I can't do, but it speaks to me. Your work speaks to me. There's 3 or 4 people that have probably been taught that same technique in one of your classes, and they have not been able to have the success or replicate. So this is your calling. This is absolutely your calling. Let me see also what it has been reproduced on.
So this is my first painting I ever did, and it's everyone's favorite. The original has been sold. So that's a pouch.
Oh, wow. That's gorgeous.
That's the notebook. Mouse pad.
Wow.
And phone cover.
Wow. Now, Brains, we want to incorporate also to the business aspect of this. This is a great side hustle. You took your pain and now it's your payday. You are able to transform these things, Brains, if you give it the proper injection and the proper energy, the right vibration and the right frequency. Would you agree, Melissa?
Absolutely.
You know, your creativity is not limited. You have to, it's like a can of beans. You got to take the top off.
That's true.
As simple as that. What would you say to a woman, individual, or even an adolescent? Because children are having problems with alcohol and drugs now, especially in the United States. They made marijuana legal, and now it's just really ridiculous. But what would you say to that person that's stuck right now, that's struggling, that just can't seem to come up for air?
First and foremost, they need to look for professional help. They need to speak to somebody. They need to speak to someone they trust, and they need to admit that they have a problem. If you don't admit that you have a problem, then that's harder to help yourself.
Well, you know, a lot of times people know that they have a problem, but they're afraid of getting clean. They're afraid of identifying with who this other person is they're going to meet. Am I going to be able to, do I like this person? Number one, do I know who this person is? This person has to be my representative. Every time I go, I've got to be on my best behavior, because if I'm not, they're going to judge me. They're going to put me right back in that pigeonhole. There's a big fear associated with that, I would assume. Am I correct?
Absolutely. Let me share my first day when I was at residential rehab. I was so scared. I was like a little child, fear everywhere. I wanted to leave. Within an hour, I wanted to leave. I ran. I wanted to speak to my my doctor to beg him to get me out. They refused to let me use the phone, so I just ran. And then finally, one of my peers, she stopped me and she allowed me to use the phone. I rang my GP and I said, please, Harold, I need you to get me out of here. I will never drink again. And I promise to see you every single day. And he turned around and said to me, Milisa, I can't help you anymore. You have to stay where you are. And that's when I thought I have no other option. He said no. Everyone else has said no. And then I've surrendered and worked the program.
Did you find a deeper spiritual connection, whatever your spiritual source is?
Yes.
And why is that? Is that because you sought it, because it was revealed to you, or it was indoctrinated in you?
I searched for it.
Beautiful, beautiful. And so that was through meditation, that was through talk therapy, that was through going through the pain, because, if, and I'm just assuming, if it was half as intense as I think it was, there might have been a little withdrawal element of detoxing, and it was alcohol.
That's right.
People don't realize that there is a detox from alcohol, where, and I don't want to go into too much of it, but I just kind of want to brush it again with a broad stroke. Were you drinking hard alcohol, or was it like beer or wine?
It was wine.
It was wine. See, and people don't take wine that seriously because it's sometimes 12%. But if you have a bottle or two, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Some people think, oh, well, I'm an alcoholic, or I'm a controlled alcoholic. I had a family member that would get wasted. And I mean, from maybe 9 o'clock at night to 1 a.m, and get up, take a shower, be fully functional, go to the job, come home, and they were drinking hard alcohol. They were drinking like 60 proof and killing it, hiding a half gallon of whatever their substance was on the side of the bed. And one day they just passed out, hit their head on the shower. We had to get them out, just passed cold out. And from that day forward, they have not touched alcohol. That's good for some, but everybody is not going to do that. And there are going to be people that relapse. What would you say to the person that relapses?
Just keep trying. Just keep trying. Get up every day, love yourself, and keep trying.
Mm-hmm.
The more you try, it'll work. They say, like what I learned in residential rehab, that people can actually lapse 6 times before they can get through.
Wow.
And there's a chance that everyone can relapse. We can all relapse, but it's about who you surround yourself with and the work you do for yourself to become
You can eliminate those people. There's a lot of people that are afraid to, there's a reason and a season, brains. And sometimes you need to eliminate those people. It's like
right.
people that are incarcerated. They get out of jail, they go back to the same neighborhood, same friends, same chaos, and now they're revisiting a jail cell because they can't get over that hurdle. But to love yourself and to pat yourself on the back, I did something earlier today, and I literally patted myself on the back. The inspiration and empowerment has to come from within. Outside influences can motivate you, they can talk to you, but they can't walk in your shoes. Where do you see the work that you're doing and the newfound resilience that you have in your life taking you, say, in the next 5 years? What are your dreams?
In the next 5 years, I want to create more art and bigger art. I want to teach art or painting, pouring, which I've been asked to do already. So I've got one client that I want to teach, or that I am teaching. Maybe some children's parties. I have a dream to have an exhibition with all my things.
Well, I have you verbalize those things because that is a part of the manifestation, is that it has to come out of you. You have to speak it into fruition. It's more than just a thought, as Bob Proctor would tell you. You've got to act on it.
That's
And
right.
you've got to be consistent. And you've got to feel good about what you're doing. So tell my brains how to get in contact with you, Milisa. I want them to purchase, brain, she's got phone cases, all kinds of beautiful things. And I keep reposting her post on my site. So you may not go to Milisa's directly, but to her third party, but definitely go in and check it out. She's got some beautiful things, beautiful gift items. You know, you can put a little packet together where you put a phone case, a tablet, and one of the little pouches there. For Mother's Day, you still got time for, you know, when Valentine's Day comes, just the simplest, most unique gifts are the ones that people treasure the most. And this isn't something off the shelf. This is something created from a woman that has a story, that has a journey, and you will be supporting her in that effort, in her dreams. How do they get in contact with you, Milisa?
So they can follow me on Instagram, bloominglovelybymilisa, or they can even request to add me on Facebook, Milisa Savic. And all the links are on my Instagram and my Facebook.
Well, we're going to definitely tap into it. We're going to share that with you, Brains, because again, I want you to have lovely things in your life, beautiful things that represent your beauty, but also your struggles, your triumphs. All of that can come out in art. Art is very therapeutic. It's like music. It is like spirituality. They all are in sync. Thank you so much, Linda, for being here with us and sharing your story and your beautiful artwork with me and my brains on the edge. I appreciate and value you.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Brains, go in and love, like, and share. Please love, like, share, and subscribe so that we can continue to give you everything that you need so that not only will you survive, but you too will thrive.